Whoa. Welcome, everyone. Synchronicities and miracles tonight. How to step in, align your body, mind, and spirit to call forth what it is you are seeking and have what you are seeking calling forth you. Kind of crazy, isn't it? But wouldn't you like to know that what you want, the miracles you want you? Okay, the life that you're calling in, all of those, what we call miracles, those good, juicy things, we are calling them in tonight. And we're going to talk about how you can. So, guys, I am your guide tonight, Joan of Angels. I work with the angelic realms, the celestial realms. I bring messages from Joan of Arc and from the higher selves here. And I'm really grateful to be with all of you and very happy to see you once again. I do Miracle Monday every Monday. We are healing the people of Earth. We are healing humanity. And we just are so happy to see each and every one of you. Please, guys, share it out. We're really in the process. My miracle is growing this channel. My miracle is having millions of people watching these shows and getting uplifted and feeling the energy, the miraculous. And also, I wanted to share with you that the work I do, the one-on-one sessions I do, help you clarify what you're doing, help give you the big dream, help you understand your purpose, and helps remove everything that's standing in your way. In fact, I did a session today. It was an amazing session just to look at what needs to be let go and to see how so many of us have challenges that we bring in from our childhood. We have soul contracts that are limiting us. And so when I do these sessions with people, we have a chance to let go of everything. We have a chance to look at what you came here to do, how and why. So yeah, share it out. Check me out at joanofangels.com. We have Tina Marie in the back of the house. Please send her love, send her family love, and send everyone you love. So make sure you like, subscribe, and share, and let us know where you are from. And tonight, we're going to start off with, what kind of miracles do you want? Where are you from? And, are we looking for financial miracles, health miracles, clarity miracles, my soul purpose miracles? How do I be a better person or have more happiness in my life? Miracles. These are all miracles, and they're all part of when we align ourselves. So happy to see Melody and Deborah, and make sure you actually do align with us and do let us know where you are from. Okay, guys. So I'm going to start with a short video I did yesterday. I'm not going to show it to you. It's only a minute. But I woke up like at 7:30 or something. And by 7:45, I got this hit. I had to do a video. So I go out to the beach and I do a cute little video. It's 90 seconds talking about, I can't even remember what I talked about, okay? But it was cute. Oh, yeah, I talked about looking for the positive because I was covered with mosquito bites. And my human side was not happy about the mosquito bites, right? So I had pulled a card that had said, Joan, look for the good in all things. So here I am at the beach, do this video. I post it on Instagram as a reel. And within 5 minutes, I get a comment on it, a reply. And that's pretty fast. I don't really get comments on everything. And it's a dear friend of mine who lives in Bali. I have not seen her for, 5 or 6 years, and about 2 or 3 weeks ago, I was thinking about her and wondering if I would ever see her again now that she lives in Bali. It's a big world and I'm traveling to. Anyway, I get a reply. And she was here in Tulum. And the funny part about it is she looks at the video, she sees the beach, she says, I know that beach. Who is it? And she sees me and reaches out, and we had the most magnificent of days. And in fact, the synchronicities were that is a synchronicity. That here I am guided to produce this 90-second video. I'm a miracle magnet, and my dear friend, who I was just thinking about recently, showed up, and we had a fantastic day. But even more important, I had heard a voice that said, she will adorn you. and I needed new ceremonial clothes. I needed clothes to present in, clothes to do healing in, that really kind of suit. Like when you look at me, I might look like an angel, right? Like I might look like I'm empowered, because clothing can do that. So she took me shopping, and over the next few weeks, you're going to see me showing up in some unique costumes, these, and why? Because that actually empowers and holds a higher energy. And I'm very much about that. If we're stepping into the miraculous, let's do things that do that for us. I see Jillery's here. I haven't seen her for a while. Natasha's here. We have Christian here. I love you guys. All right, we're going to have some fun tonight. So, where do I want to start? I have so much to tell you. All right, well, let's just call on the higher vibration, and then I'll tell you, okay? So let's rub our hands together, because that's how I can send energy to Tina Marie in the back, and then she sends energy to me, and then we energize completely. And Mother, Father, God, we just ask right now that each and every one of us be filled with light, filled with clarity, filled with the energy of the miraculous, with understanding that which we are seeking is seeking us. And not just that, but that we get filled with this sense of personal power, personal magnetism. And what is that, my friends? You might ask. That is our ability to create an energetic field through synchronicities to call to us what we want. So tonight, collectively, we are calling to all and each of us to create this vortex, this energy field, this new reality that has nothing to do with this daily reality that we are existing in here on the planet, or with anyone else. It only has to do with you and your personal power, developing your ability to be a magnet for miracles, to be a magnet for personal power, to be a magnet for strength, and to let go of everything that's in your way, so that you truly feel your own energetics, and so you can have immediate synchronicities. So the story with Heather was, it was within 5 minutes of posting this video that she reached out to me. That is quite synchronistic, my friends. So we love you. Patricia hopped on. I'm so excited to see you. And you know, this energy that comes through because I am aligned with where we are, and that it comes through as a cycle. And so Tina and I kind of raise this vibe, and then you guys feed it, so that we are empowered to empower each and every one of you. So, Mother, Father, God, we see and ask for the presence of our guides, of our angels, of our guardian angels, our archangel angels, our companions in spirit, our star family, our spiritual family, our team. Each and every one of you has your own team of angels, just like on standby, ready to help you get what it is you are seeking. All right, so good. Everyone's in the house. Get your friends, everyone. It's kind of one of those nights. Now, I had an extraordinary experience the last few days. I did an interview a few days ago with a goddess named Radha. She has a publishing company called Radha Publishing, and she publishes stories about goddesses, archetypal goddesses. And right before we went on the show, I looked at her and I said, well, you know, this is all cool. And I am a goddess of sorts, but, you know, and I have the Joan of Angel and the Joan of Arc energy, but I don't feel like I'm walking around like this goddess. I guess I wasn't looking like a goddess either. And she was on air now looking like a goddess. I was just looking like a human. The difference was quite shocking to me. But I said to her, I don't quite relate. Yes, it's a very powerful day, 12/12. 12/12, the energy is a 3-day, and it is about creativity, mastery, empowerment and knowing who you are in this unified field of consciousness. So each and every one of you on my who are commenting and who are on this broadcast now or later get to be in that field. So she and I are talking, and she's seeing my archetypes. Okay, she's telling me, Joan, I want you to write a chapter for us in the book because I see your Joan of Arc energy and I see your Joan of Angels, which I thought was quite lovely. Oh yeah, it makes me feel good. But I think it was during the show that she said, well, Joan, you were the high priestess of Atlantis. So I haven't even told Tina and Marie this, but I think it was on the show or at least after. And she looked at me, she said, you were the high priestess. And as she said that, my energy started to shift. And then she said, you were the high priestess in Egypt as well. And I found that really extraordinary. And as she said it, the old thing, my shoulders started to come back. My energy started to shift. Heck, I'm even wearing my earrings again, But I could feel this. And I did another interview the next day. Someone interviewed me. And all I could talk about was raising those frequencies. So I started undergoing this energetic. And then Heather comes along. And I knew she was going to adorn me to look like a goddess. It was so synchronistic because I was feeling like, how do I look like this goddess, just like Radha? So another synchronicity and another miracle, because I could tell, even looking today, I kind of look more goddessy. Who thinks I look goddess? Okay. Do I look more goddessy, celestial tonight? Because that's what happened to me on Friday. I looked at her. She was a goddess and I wasn't. Okay. Fast forward. So now I'm walking around meditating into the feeling of this, and I couldn't sleep last night. I was like really feeling into this goddess energy. It's like, how can I manifest it? 2:30 in the morning, I wake up. First thing on my mind, how can I manifest this? This was still 5 in the morning. Okay, at 5 in the morning, I lay down again. Well, I've been trying to lay down, but finally I'm lying down, and I said to myself, well, I think we need help. So I laid there, and this really does help, guys. I laid there and I saw all my 4 archangels. I saw Uriel at my foot, down by my feet. I saw Michael like above me. I saw Raphael on my right, and I saw Gabriel on my left, and I was surrounded with the energies. And I said to them, look, if I was truly the high priestess of Atlantis, which is a pretty big job, I want to remember it. I want to see it. I want to know what gifts I had, what skills, what powers. I want to know who I was, and I want the restoration of these memories. Now, you too can do this, by the way. So do it tonight. So I lay down. I'm laying down, and I start to drift off. Finally, okay, because I had no sleep. Drift off, and I see a vision. I have a vision. It's like a lucid dream, and I see people drowning. I'm going to have tears in a second. The vision that they showed me was when Atlantis fell under the water and the floods came. And I saw many people like flailing around in the water. And I'm watching the waters come up over the rocks and people climbing out over the rocks and people I knew and loved succumbing and drowning. And that is the dream that they showed me. They showed me the end of Atlantis. And I was part of that ending. I didn't leave Atlantis and go to some big mountaintop to be rescued. I died along with everyone because that anyone who was there. And so my gift was that I got to see that. It was a confirmation, of course. And hopefully tonight they start to bring me more information of what I was doing and how this tragedy happened. But when Atlantis went underwater, guys, what happened? Well, before that, of course, they knew about that, both in Lemuria and Atlantis. And they sent out thousands of their teachers with the secret scrolls, the secret doctrines, and the mystery schools. And these people were tasked with the job of going into secret mystical places around the world, in Africa, in India, in Siberia, in the Atlantic, the Atlantic, I guess, our coast, the North America, every part, Mount Shasta, Sedona, they sent out their teachers from the mystery schools to keep those teachings sacred and to make sure that they didn't get lost and passed on and was passed on. Now, unfortunately, many, many manuscripts and books, that they've had book burnings for centuries, for thousands of years. They have burned the teachings so that we should not remember who we are. So when we gather together like this, our memories are starting to come back. And yes, many of you are from those secret mystery schools, and we are calling the tribe together. And synchronistically enough, guys, I started working with Neil Gar, Portal to Ascension. And the first thing I said to Neil this year when we went up to Mount Shasta is I said, we are the ones who sent out all of these people to the mystery schools around the globe. And now we will personally be going to many of those places and revive and awaken those teachings wherever we go. So yes, many of you were there with us in the mystery schools. Many of you were there with us in Atlantis, and you can feel that. So when we say I perished in Atlantis, we know that you're being reborn now, and that which was mishandled in those days will not be happening again, even though on the surface it might look like it, because we are living in dangerous times, and we are not living, the way we did years ago. So what is happening for us is that we're being called to recall our gifts, recall our powers, to be who we are and to do what we came here to do. Now, I'm hoping this makes sense because, I realize that I've been giving advanced teachings to many of you in so much of these Miracle Mondays. But that is because most of you are part of these mystery schools, and you're just waking up to it. So just dive in, you're just waking up to it. And if you just hopped on, I'm just so glad that you are here. Yes, Natasha, remembering our indigenous roots, remembering the stories we told about the star people coming down to the planet and how we were formed and how we were created. This is all important. So wherever you may be on the planet, and when we ask where you are, and I didn't realize this until now, but when we ask where you are, we are actually helping you establish light codes. And some of you might have been here when we do that tower of miracle power, and we raise that tower to become not just a receiving station, but a generating station of light. And so you are all part of this mystery school teaching. And I'm just honored to be here with you. Whoa. So that has been my last 3 days. And so tonight I'm going to invite you to join me on a magical journey with me. And we can do this it's called, I don't know, the word that came to me is virtual dreaming. I don't know if that's really the right word, but it popped in my consciousness. But invite you to surround yourself with the archangels, and then go ahead, ask for your ancestors, ask for your celestial beings, ask for your star family, ask for your guides to be with you, and then ask what you want to know. Show me what happened to me in Atlantis. Show me the life I had there. Restore my memories of why and what I carried, what I left Atlantis with. Because believe me, my friends, when we died in Atlantis, we were advanced beings. We were not slaves. We were not illiterate in the ways of spirit, or in the ways of manifesting energy, or in the use of crystals. We were fully empowered, high vibrational frequency beings. Now, they haven't shown me exactly how each and every one of us were allowed to be attacked in those ways. Although, and I don't even want to guess. I'm doing a talk on Atlantis next year for Portal to Ascension, and I'm asking every night, and it would help and it would be fun, right? Fun. If you guys were part of that energetics, okay? So from Ottawa, Canada, okay, tonight, whenever you go to sleep, tune in and ask them to show you what happened to you in Atlantis, what you did in Atlantis, what you did. And let's start with Atlantis, because what happened when Atlantis fell, we were traumatized, my friends, traumatized by that which we couldn't undo, by the loss of lives. And actually think about it, traumatized, continually traumatized, when they burned our teachings, when they burned the books, when they burned the souls, and they burned Joan of Arc, and they burned the witches. All of that is a collective trauma that has been imposed upon us to not speak our truth, to not remember our truth. I've had so many Akashic Records guys recently that talk about how I used to talk to the gods, but I lost my life in all of those lives because the king was threatened, okay? In one lifetime, the only person allowed to talk to the gods was the king. Here I was from 3 years old talking to the gods. The king heard about me, sent all of his troops to gather, drag me off as a 14-year-old and threw me on the floor in front of him. And he demanded to know what the gods said about him. And when I told him the truth, of course, it was like, take out her heart. So they dragged me up to the top of the pyramids. These pyramids are right here where I'm staying right now, here in the Mayan Peninsula. Last year, I actually went to that temple in Chichen Itza, and I woke up that night and I saw my death. But here the gods dragged me up to the top. Guards, not gods, guards, G-U-A-R-D, dragged me up to the top of the pyramid and laid me down on the altar up there. And 4 guards were holding me down, and they were strong, okay? And the king has his knife like this, and his mission was to stab me and take out my heart and offer up me as a sacrifice to the gods. And God knows how this happened, but I was filled with some kind of super energy, and I broke free of the guards because I didn't want to be sacrificed to his God, right? And I leaped off the pyramid to my death. And yes, I did die, but of course I was not a sacrifice. My soul wasn't captured. My heart was not sacrificed. Another lifetime too, where I was a young child, and my parents were members of mystery school. These mystery schools that we're talking about. And so my family was part of these secret mystery schools. All good, right? Except that little old Joan was smarter than the teachers. I knew more because I had a direct connection. I didn't need to go through them. And I've been this way all my life, even this lifetime. I would question everything, or I knew better than them, and I would say that that's not the way we do it. This is a better way. I was a young girl, and my family was then threatened because the control in those mystery schools wasn't always free either. So I lost my life then also because they were threatening to remove my family and have my family killed because I was challenging their authority. Now, I'm going to tell you this. If it's me that was doing it, I can tell you that many of you on this chat, many of you listening, experienced the same thing, that you were tortured and held captive for your powers and for your gifts. And that explains why the memory is too painful. And it explains to me why, with your support, my loved ones, honestly, you guys are encouraging me to go deeper and further than I ever have before. And so it's the restoration of these memories and healing of this collective trauma so that we can hear again, we can have those gifts coming back, so we can be aligned properly to do what we came here to do, to remember. All right, to remember, guys. And so that is part of our collective trauma and our collective mission to begin to be able to talk to the gods again, to restore those memories and feel empowered and not frightened, right? Empowered and strong so we can do this together. And so it is, and so it will be. Okay. Trying not to say that word. So any questions about what I said? I'm going to scroll through in a minute and see what I've missed, because I see you guys are pretty active tonight, and I see some very powerful things. Like, okay, the Grand Canyon, the findings of the pyramids. Yes, Natasha, these are proof that the Egyptians were here, that there was a way for them to travel. I think there were hundreds of thousands. There's evidence of hundreds of thousands of Egyptians that lived in the Grand Canyon. There's agricultural, plus there's tombs and there's jewels and there's statues that are Egyptian in those in the Grand Canyon, and we are forbidden from flying over them. We are forbidden from going into those caves. And that's beginning to piss me off, just so you know. It's beginning to make me angry. Whenever I see where we're being censored or where the truth has been lied to about our history, about the giants that roamed on the earth or the little people that literally existed, I'm getting angry now. It is beginning to bother me. I'm not happy about it, because how dare they take away our memories? How dare they make it so that it's hard to know who we are? And of course, many people are confused about who you are, your soul purpose and mission, because you came down here and the rules all changed. The history is altered. Everything is altered. The books are gone. The teachings are gone. And those who are in control of that are the controllers. You're not allowed to see it. They don't want us putting the pieces together. So I'm here to say that collectively we are becoming miracle magnets. Okay. We are collectively calling in health, wealth, and happiness. We are collectively asserting our abilities and our powers to restore this. And so I invite you tonight to join me in your sleep. Before you go to bed, make sure you have divine protection. So when I started to see the drowning, and I saw these ancient figures, and I wasn't sure for a second who they were, and I went back and made sure that I was covered with divine protection. And I like to put on my celestial suit, celestial wear, right? A one-piece, gorgeous celestial thing with a hood, right? To cover and protect myself. And then I was wrapping all sorts of light around me and a light pillar all in my bed, so that only that which was the highest frequency would come through to me. And I invite you to join me tonight. And then go back on this video and and comment on what happened to you, because I read all the comments on the YouTube. So the truth is, guys, it's easier for me to read all the comments on the YouTube video. And although I'm streaming it to a few Facebook channels, it's easier for me to respond on YouTube, if that makes sense. So if I don't comment, I somehow couldn't even find you on my Facebook. So hop on YouTube and make those comments as well. All right. And so thank you for loving that conversation. I love that conversation too. And the interesting thing is, it was hard because I felt she was so gorgeous, and it just, I wasn't in my goddess. I hadn't even considered this goddess energy around me, to tell you the truth. Isn't that crazy? All right. So I love what Patricia says. I've known Patricia for many years. I don't know how many years, but it feels like forever. And I really appreciate that. If you had said to me, Joan, you were the high priestess of Atlantis, I don't know what I would have done with that, Patricia, because you only remember when you remember. Okay? So Native American, very, very important. The indigenous tribes are the ones with the memory. They, maybe today they're losing their memory, but the olden days, up until a few generations ago, the indigenous, until the white man came and destroyed them, until the Europeans came and felt that we were the ones to take over. But part of it was there was a deliberate destruction because of what the indigenous tribes know. Because the indigenous tribes were connected to the gods, they had to be destroyed, because whoever has taken over part of this planet is certainly not in touch with what we're in touch with. And so it is. All right. How are you feeling? I don't know. I'm really excited talking about this. All right. I was at Atlantis when the lands were sinking too. The first vision I had was the bodies of drowning people. Then I was rescuing books, manuscripts, and scrolls. Well, last night was my introduction to the drowning. And maybe tonight together we'll all see what we were doing, what we were responsible for, how we really collected. And I believe, even based on what I'm seeing here in the chat, that we were together. So I love this. My mom remembered Atlantis too. That's exciting. And I love that we have Canada in the house, but I love this. America, yes, is from Atlantis. Ancient Lemuria, up in California, Mount Shasta is Lemurian. And so it was a part of Lemuria. And, I've seen maps of California being separate from the United States. All right. So the Temple of Isis was founded in the 6th century. So these ancient sacred teachers, and I'm going to just say that we don't actually know when these things were formed, because they've lied about the time. They've manipulated it. I say they. Who is they? They are the counterbalance. They are the ones who brought forward the destruction of Atlantis. They are the ones who are insisting we follow their rules. They are the ones who have systematically denied the people their access to the higher self and their information that is there, to the records. So I encourage each and every one of you to do that with me. All right, let's see. As I go through here, yes, do we've been everything. Yes, yes, yes. I've always been drawn to the Dead Sea Scrolls. Isn't that interesting? The Dead Sea Scrolls, which I think were written in the days of the Essenes, and talk about times when the angels were physically present, when the ETs were physically present. I find that quite remarkable, because what I find remarkable is that these beings really exist, and that angels were able to be seen in those physical bodies. Speaking of being seen in these physical bodies, upcoming show on Friday is with an angel teacher who calls in angels, and he's going to be teaching on the show how to smell your angels and call them in. I think that's kind of fun. Okay, so now we're looking for health, wealth, and happiness, and abundance, and love miracles. I have not read this book of Thomas. Maybe you can let us know a little bit more about what it is. That would help. Right. And they still don't let us in, Deborah. You still cannot do that. I went on a river rafting trip, 7 days down the Colorado River in the Grand Canyon. And we were allowed to go to Native American caves, but they didn't even mention a word about these other caves. We were not allowed to fly over them. And the funny part about it is, out at the end of the river rafting trip, my husband at the time and I, there was a helicopter that took us all back to where our cars were, where we started. But they did not fly over that. Oh, no, they did not. And yes, just and we will get it all back. So there it is. Now, you guys know I'm going to Egypt this year, and it's in September of 2023. The website is being done now. If you have an interest in going to Egypt with us, then what shall I have you do? Send me an email, joanofangels@gmail.com. And this Egyptian trip is part about restoration of our ancient memories. So Melody, oh my God. So I'm going to tell you something. When I started that Akashic record reading with my friend, she said, what do you want to deal with? And I said, well, I have a fear of heights and a terror of falling. And I can't drive over bridges. I cannot drive on curvy roads where you see the mountain in front of you, or these little narrow things anymore. And I'm in terror that I'm going to fall off of a road, and go to the other side. Well, I did have a friend that did fall off the road. 2 people I know did do that. But nevertheless, I have no evidence that I would actually fall off the road, but it was this fear of falling. And I realized that when I had that reading, that was an explanation. So I have the same thing, Melody. That's what I'm trying to say. Happy to hear that. I always love when we collaborate like this. Wow. A sandstone rock with an eternal spiral drawn on it. And I hope you've saved it. I hope you still have it. That's a very special artifact and important information. Arkansas, by the way, is the home of a crystal mountain. So they always hide our past. Yes, but you know what? We are awakening our memories. We are doing it collectively, and that is what's making me very happy. All right, so who here is feeling a shift in their energy already? And is this awakening you? Up there's Patricia, awake at 3 with many memories. My indigenous roots left me with memories all my life. At 4 years old, I was diagnosed with an overactive imagination and put on meds. I read something really interesting today, Patricia, and it was talking about the use of psychiatry, psychiatric medicine, and psychiatric teachings as a way to suppress and silence people who don't think the same as them. All right, and to suppress your memories. So if you've had a history of being on psychiatric drugs, or even for depression, that is separating you from your ability to remember. And so, Patricia, I call that agents of the dark, that when we are born, the other side knows your life plan, and they know how powerful you are destined to be. And they know, like in Patricia's case, you had full memory. So what do? They send agents to stop you. Now, the agents may come in the form of your parents, or family members. Maybe comes later in the form of friends. It's not like your family is necessarily doing it deliberately, but you can consider that what they're doing is an interference with your ability to soar, your ability to remember and reconnect this switch here. Now, I think last week's show, I talked about that switch here. This is the most powerful switch that you have. And when it is open, when it is aligned, then you can tap into source and do what you came here to do. It is quite powerful. It is within your ability to do this. Okay, and so it is. Whew. Okay, they're showing me that when we shift that energy, we can transform into a new place. We can create a higher energy flow. Okay, let's see what the cards have to say. Magazine Mountain, which I don't know about. This is something we need to know about. An emerald crystal is buried there. Magazine Mountain. Well, in the restoration with the goddess the other day, she actually put an emerald, like an emerald diamond shaped crystal in our heart. And perhaps we can energize that to connect with that magic mountain. Good. Now, the first thing they say, and this is true, times are going to get rocky. I'm preparing you, okay? Am I prophesizing? Times will get rocky for the next period of time. It's not forever. We're going to get through this. We're breaking through. But they're saying stay focused and hold the course. Stay focused and hold the course. I will be here every Monday night. When I go over to Europe and England, I may change the time because, let's see, in England right now it's 1 a.m. and I don't think I can do a great job at 1 a.m. So I'll probably change the time, but I will be with you every week as we shift our consciousness and as we hold this focus and hold steady. And the card is an ancient one holding a telescope as he's looking out from his window and looking out. So what does it mean to stay focused? To stay focused means you know that you don't have to know, but you're not going to lose your grounding. And the position for it, same position I teach all the time, is to really keep your feet apart, and start to spread those wings and start to hold that energy. Because so that you cannot be pushed off course. And you can always, reach out, loves. I'm always happy to hear from you. All right. So we have the emerald crystals buried there. It is huge. I can just feel its energy. So tapping into that. Natasha, we can feel your energy here. You're sharing that crystalline energy with us now. And we are appreciating that. So one of the benefits, as Christian's saying, and I think Christian has a lot of his memories back, is that we are prosperity, ancient knowledge, and wisdom. We are bringing that back. So let's stay focused on the restoration of our memories. And by the way, when your memories are restored, then some of the issues that you've suffered from this lifetime can be healed, because a lot of those issues are meant to keep you in a state of confusion and pain. All right. So when she was little, I love this, Patricia, and thank you for sharing, because this is so personal. So when I was very little with meds, I stopped taking them myself without telling anyone. I was 4 years old, and I talked my incredible memories. It really freaked out the teacher and the kids. So Patricia, think about what had happened in those other lifetimes, how frightening you were to those who do not want us to have our memories. I remember a time when I'm in 5th grade, and I was in Hebrew school, and the teacher said, well, what do you think about God? And I raised my hand. And I said, well, I think God is pretty mean, because all through the Old Testament, God is always the gods, whoever that is, whatever ET being that might be. The gods had different personalities. There was a nice God, and there was that God that wants you to slay everyone. Go into Jericho, kill every single person, force them to bow down before us. We are humans. We are God beings. We should never have to bow down to anyone. We should never have to be in shame about who we are. We should never be forced to obey a command that doesn't work for us, because that is disempowering us. So I raise my hand and I start to talk about the things that I thought were true. What did I say? I said, how come then God is always telling people in the Bible to kill people? That's not a nice God. And the teachers started to shut me up. And then I had memorized a couple of particular lines from the beginning of the Bible, the Old Testament, and they're really easy. They said, these are the days. And so I said, well, these are the days that the sons of God mated with the daughters of man. Now, I don't know about you, but when I hear in the Bible, the very beginning, the sons of God mated with the daughters of man, I don't know what you think about, but I think something happened. Okay, that's pretty unusual. And then it goes on to talk about these are the days when giants roamed the earth. Well, their history, when we find giants here in the US, and they have found plenty of giant skeletal remains and hidden in the mounds, and I know about this because I've seen books so it used to be that in the late 1800s, cities and villages and counties had a history. They would keep a recorded history of what was going on in their town or village. And many of these histories report finding giant skeletal remains in these mounds. So the moment it was reported that these giant skeletal remains were found, the Smithsonian would send someone to come and get them. And all of these remains were put under in the basement in the archives where they were never seen again. And the Smithsonian may have destroyed them. Now, I had a boyfriend who was I guess, auditioning, interviewing to be the head museum director of the Smithsonian. And they took him on a tour in the Forbidden Zone in the Smithsonian, where all those skeletal remains were hidden. And they will never see the light of day. But there are videos you can start to find which show giants as early in the 1900s. We still had giants here in this country. You can see at the World's Fair pictures of guys who are like 15 feet tall picking up a human, all right, and talking to them, or a human climbing up on a big ladder they could never be face to face, but it's quite revealing. And on my Telegram channel, I put all sorts of things on my Telegram channel, and I put in things about the giants all the time. When I come across a video that I want to save, I put it on my Telegram channel. So when I do my presentation finally on the giants, I have them all collected on that Telegram channel. So if you're interested, go and look. It is fascinating, and it will make you angry. They suppressed that why would they suppress the information that giants were here on the planet? Now, you can see it with your own two eyes. If you live in a mountainous region, like, up in Joshua Tree where I was, or in Sedona, or Mount Shasta, even Palm Springs, those are the places I've been looking recently. There's a lot of rocks that look like a human figure. Well, not human. They look like a giant figure because they're giant. Up in Joshua Tree, those rocks are huge. So you're looking at a figure that was like a mile long. They're laying horizontal. Their chin is up, and you see the eyes. Well, you don't see the eyes, but you see the shape. Then you'll see a nose, and you'll see the outline of a mouth and even a chin. And then you'll see it arch like curved, and then a body, and it's like a mile long. And they're laying horizontal on the top of the mountain, most likely because what was happening in those times is that there was some kind of destruction on the planet, and the air was literally removed, and they were fossilized, in shape like Easter Island. If you go back to Easter Island and you look at those photos, you'll see statues of these giant, huge head. Now, if those heads are huge, how big are those bodies? Other evidence of giants are these big, Devil's Tower is one of them. All right, and so these are big plateaus that are a mile high, but if you look at them from the air, you can see that they're roots. You can see that this was a tree trunk that was cut, boom, like this, a mile high. Now, I was trying to figure this out one day. It was like, if I was a giant, if I was cutting down a tree, even my size, which I would never, but, it would be kind of at chest level, right? Or a little lower. So what kind of being is like that was like up to his chest where he cut it. How tall were these beings? And I came across a biblical comment that God had sent down the angels to chop down the trees because the giants were so tall, they were afraid that the giants would climb up on the tree and touch heaven. Now that gets us to another thing. How could heaven be so close? Is there really a firmament around the earth? But that's a whole other story. All these things of which I am so fascinated by, I can't stop. All right, so we see a comment on it. The Sleeping Beauty mine with a mind for Sleeping Beauty. Okay, people are sharing where these amazing turquoise and stones are. And yes, the giants have 6 fingers and toes. And every so often, a human is born with 6 fingers and toes. And every so often, we'll see a human that's huge, like 6'12", 6'11", or 7'1", and they have a different body type. And it's like a form of giganticism. There's a medical word for it. They don't look completely human because their body type is different. And for instance, Trump's son, Barron, I just saw something about him that he's so tall. So we have tall in our genes as well. All right, so I have said so much today. Did you like what we're talking about tonight? Yes, God is love. That's what my mommy taught us. But who is God? You know, there are many gods. The ancient ones talk about many gods. The tales talk about star beings that came down, the Anunnaki coming down, and other beings that posed as gods because they knew they could control humanity. And some of them created religions so that we would obey them. Some of those religious controls were so you would not remember that you are divine and you can touch spirit. Does that make sense? All right. Quite a show. All right. I love Miracle Monday too, Christian. And as I said, please help me grow Miracle Monday. Tina and I want to see thousands of people being reached and loving Miracle Monday. So we have miracles spreading across the planet. Thank you, Deborah. Yeah, because I'm giving you history now. I'm giving you real things. So I want to summarize. I think I'll pull one more card. Oh, yeah. Okay. Okay. I cannot remember. I said synchronicities at the very beginning. I can't make this up. The card is called Fellow Travelers. Support is all around you. So my loved ones, we are fellow travelers. Well, it makes sense. Some of us left Atlantis together. Some of us died on Atlantis together. Some of us have been struggling to recover. I didn't have these memories 30 years ago, guys. This is all new information, all new wisdom. And so if we open ourselves up collectively, we will uncover the truth. So I think that's great. Fellow travelers. Look at that card. You guys are fellow travelers with me. Support is all around you. And we are going to pull. Oh, yeah. Well, just so you know, it is a sacred traveler deck. All right. But still. All right. I didn't pick that card. I didn't pull it out before we started and say, oh, yeah, I'm going to find the right cards for tonight. Let me find them. I'm pulling them as you see it. See? Okay. Yes. Surrendering to the journey. So we're going to release control. Know that we're on a journey together. Know that there is a wave that together we can get through anything that's happening. And we are the ones we have been waiting for. You are the one you have been waiting for. And we are, as they say, walking each other home. So I want to end this tonight by first of all letting you know once again how much I love and appreciate each and every one of you. There'd be no Miracle Monday if you weren't here with me, just so you know. Okay? And there wouldn't be these teachings. And every time I teach, I had no idea what I was even going to tell you because I didn't even know what I knew until I taught it. Okay, so the final card I'm going to leave you with is faraway places. We can go to these faraway places, not just in the physical, but in that ascended state and in that dream state. And they say, get ready for new horizons. So after some of the challenging times, there is going to be a new earth and a new birth and new times ahead. So we encourage you to check that out. Also, I wanted to say that on Wednesday of this week, you can check out the PTA show. Go there. There is a show on the Christ consciousness. I will be on it. You'll probably love the show. And you're always welcome to join anything that I do because I just love you so. Okay. So I don't know if I need to repeat myself, but you go and lay down tonight. You invoke your support team, your angelic tribe, your guides, and then you ask them, you demand of them, I want to know. And if you already know, then ask them what you need to do with this information and continue on that journey. Your journey is so important to each and every one of our journeys because as you wake up, as you remember, there's more opportunity for the rest of us to remember. And so it is. So please, again, we want to reach thousands of people. We just do. This is a message we all need. So if you help us get that out, we would really appreciate it. It's that please like, subscribe, and share this out. I honor you for that. If you need any support in remembering who you are and why you're here, and in letting go of that which is keeping you scared, that's my specialty. If you need healing, my chiropractic background, I have plenty of clues for all of you on how to align and how to heal your body, mind, and spirit. Let's ask for synchronicities this week. Let's ask that when we put something out that we see an instantaneous return back. Let's ask that each and every one of us experience our full potential, that we not only walk each other home, but that we walk in spirit, we walk in trusting that this too will pass and that we are one. So thank you for joining us into the miraculous. I honor and love each and every one of you, and we will see you all next week.